What's up, guys? So you just saw all that good stuff in the beginning, and don't forget DCS4 July 24th, 25th. This is the DCS3 playmat. It's really sick, and you guys, I'll throw the DCS4 playmat up here in just a second. Top 8 get it, along with all those good old cash prizes. We know that's what you guys like. Link down below. Come join Dragon Rider Games, and stay tuned for the DCS4 with the new ban list. So without further ado, guys, enjoy your video. Today we're going to cover the best decks, the tier list. I did one a few weeks ago, and I don't typically do this. I usually go like a month and a half or so between doing them, but we were wrong. I predicted that we wouldn't get a ban list till like pretty late July, early August, because I didn't think the format was too bad, aside from, you know, Dragon Link being a little stale to play against again. Other than that, the format really wasn't too bad. But nonetheless, they dropped a ban list on us 10 days early. We did do our reaction to it, but I mean, you guys all react and know what's going to happen anyway. If you want to check it out, feel free to check it out. Otherwise, I completely understand. So without further ado, we're going to jump on into the tier list. We're doing a lot more decks than we typically do, because I do think it's a pretty diverse, pretty good format where every deck on this tier list, I think, could absolutely compete, and with the right pilot on the right day can win you, or at least get you into a top cut of an event. All of these decks have their strengths and weaknesses. Some, however, are better than others. Starting off ABC, it's a good rogue deck, especially when you can go like into the IP play, your ABC Buster, being able to have a banish and a spin. Like if you time those out right against majority of combo decks, you're probably gonna win. They did lose a little bit with Carrier, but really not too much. I mean, we've said it before, so we're not going to dive into it too much here. Emancipator, they're still actually kind of decent. The only problem is there's so many combo decks that are just better, and I think they're a good rogue deck, and if someone really, you know, picks it up, someone wants to put the time and effort into it, I think they can see success with it. There's just other combo decks that you're going to have an easier time winning with, and that's why Emancipator is going to be a rogue deck. Altergeist, if it had more representation, it'd be tier 2, but just because of lack of representation, it is going to be a tier 3 deck, arguably the strongest tier 3. I mean, I guess I'll contradict myself there in a little bit, but it is a very strong tier 3 deck. And if more people played it, it would absolutely be tier 2, because the few people that play it are probably, you know, worthy of bumping it up. But due to representation, Altergeist is going to stay tier 3. We left it out last time. Brock's been doing it on stream. He's been playing the deck, testing the deck, loving the deck. However, I am going to have Amazements as a rogue deck until we see some results from them. They can be very fun. I think the engine's kind of splashable. I've seen other people doing things like that. He's been trying a pretty trap heavy build and having a ton of fun with it. It's been amazing, pun intended. And moving forward, Buster Blader. So Dragon Link's out of the format, right? So that means Buster Blader's just bad? Yes, no, maybe so. I mean, if they go first, they make all your cards dragons anyway. However, just like a few weeks ago, I don't think anything changed. I think Buster Blader is still a very strong rogue strategy. I'm excited, guys. Cyber Dragon, this format, I think a lot of things are looking good for it. The right pilot with this deck might not be able to win a really big tournament, but making it into top cut, absolutely. This deck, whether you're playing the trap build or even the OTK build, keep an eye out. We have a very budget friendly trap build coming, courtesy of our friend Alex, or Ali, at Alex Yugioh. Make sure to check him out on YouTube. Again, Alex Yugioh. He does a lot of really good stuff. Got top 8 in a couple of MBT's tournaments with Trap Cyber Dragons, and he sent me a budget list to see what I thought and told me to make a video on it, so that will be up very shortly. Everything happening yesterday with the ban list. I got other stuff that kind of got bumped ahead in line. Otherwise, we will have our updated list again for the new format and our trap build as well. Missed to 1, no problem. So Dinosaur's still tier 2. You can't prove me wrong. Like, until the deck falls off, I am not going to drop it way down. They open miss less. Sure. They were already going to open it roughly 30% going first. Okay, so 30% of the time they had miss. Well, guess what? Now it's like 12% or whatever the number is without doing it in preparation for the video. So yes, they're going to open miss significantly less. And the bigger part, it's the follow-up play. They only have that one. Either they just accept that, or they have to find a way to recur it, or find a different grind play. But as a Dino player, the majority of my games don't really get too grindy. So I mean, I don't know. I usually don't need that second miss. Obviously, you banish the first and they ash it, that kind of hurts. But we have other combos. There's still like Archosaur Baby. There's still Ovi popping a baby. There's still Ovi Lost World. There's still Scrap Raptor Lost World if you're going with that route. Like, the deck still can do a lot, guys. Yes, missed one hurts. Yes, missed one makes some people happy. But the deck's still good. It's still tier 2. Dragon Link. Striker Dragon was the bigger hit out of the two. I'm going to drop them down to tier 3. Some people I saw say tier 2. I am actually working on a list. The deck's still good. It doesn't play through so many disruptions anymore. It just doesn't power through everything. Because it lost a really, really good extender. And I've seen people say, well, if they Ash or Imperm your Alpi, you're in the same spot anyway. Not exactly, because you still had that body on board. Whereas now you kind of go into a different route to use the hand trap somewhere else, and you're just losing a little bit more than you would have before. But Striker Dragon to 1, that's the real thing that hurts here. Whether you're playing like the Dragon Maid engine, the Dragunity engine, like there are other ways. Dragon Link isn't going to be dead. There's too much generic dragon support for this deck to probably ever die. I just wonder if too many people are going to say there's just better combo decks. Kind of the Adamancipator approach. You're going to hear it for a few of these actually. But that there's just better decks, and the top players play the top decks. They don't get attached to them. Like, when you look at like the top handful of players in the world, do they really just stick with one deck, format after format after format? No, they are top players. They're consistently topping. They play the top decks. That's kind of how the game goes, guys. Drytron, they are one of the top decks of the format. I was curious to see how it was all going to work. Playtesting with the deck, I said the deck's crazy, the deck's insane. If you don't have a disruption against this deck, you probably lost. But Drytron, there is some pretty hard counters, like Droll can hurt this deck immensely. Hitting the Fafnir, we will have a full how to beat this deck coming up very shortly too, but Drytron is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 tier 1 decks. Earth Machine, another deck that this deck is very, very grindy, and it can OTK. I found that a lot of the time, as Nathan put it, the more the game grinds, the better chance this deck has to win. I do really think that's true as well. Earth Machine, though, the deck's pretty crazy. 1-card combos, and just, like I said, OTKing or grinding. The deck is really strong. Eldritch, tier 2, really strong. Lots of these decks are really strong, right? Like, that's why they're on here. But Eldritch, so I do think that we're going to see a resurgence of Eldritch, and I do think that we're going to head more towards a mid-range, less of a combo-heavy format. But I think Eldritch is a very strong deck and engine, and we're going to see a lot of different variations of it moving forward. Grand Modu, who doesn't like good old-fashioned beatdown? Normal summon attack, game, beatdown. Oh, Desires, Orochi, set, you attack into my bluff, it turned out to be a Grand Modu, you lose, things like that. Grand Modu, fun, strong, rogue strategy. Guru Dragoon, Dragoon went off unscathed. I prefer playing Insight as well. Not only does it give you a way to revive your Dragoon, it gives you a much better chance to make that Dragoon going first. And if you can back up Dragoon with Subterror combo, or Subterror combo plus like a plethora of strong traps, or Dragoon plus a bunch of strong traps, like the deck can do the deck's scary. The deck's really good. And yeah, Guru Dragoon, really strong. Gurus and heroes. They're rogue. They lose to too many different cards, especially cards that are just there to hit other better decks. They can see some success because Dark Law is such a crazy card. If they play Plasma, that's a crazy card. But overall, the deck, it's got a lot of choke points, and it doesn't push through as well as others. They can, use Malice Bane and other, really strong going second heroes too to actually push through for game and OTK. So the deck has a lot at its disposal. I just don't see it as much more than a rogue strategy. Adignisters, towers are back, baby. Towers are back. We'll see how the deck continues to develop. It's kind of popped up now with a little bit more support. We'll see how it continues to go. I actually have 3 of these bad boys right here. When I first got them, they were like super dirt cheap. I didn't want to be like, oh, I pulled these, I'm just gonna sell them now. Like, it's like, for what they are, for what I can get, I'm just going to hold on to them. And, well, good thing I did, because the deck is actually going to be good, and they're going to be, well, they're already worth more than I could have sold them for, so I am happy there. Once again, Emancipator Syndrome, the combo deck that is still very, very strong, but there's just better combo decks. I think obviously Emancipator is worse than Dragon Link and Infernoble, so I do think Dragon Link is still better than Infernoble, but these are, again, two just combo decks that can see a ton of success if they were heavily represented, but there's just going to be too many decks that are better that I don't think a lot of the top players are going to play either of those two decks. Invoked Shaddoll Dogmatica. Deck's still tier 1, guys. Like, deck's still really strong. Good thing so far, though. You see a pattern. Drone Lockbird, kind of good. A Dolce, you know, whether it's they're going first, like hand ripping combos. I think that's what they do going first, I believe. I was never super into them. I've played against them a lot more in like rogue formats that all the big tournament groups host. They've had their time to shine there, but even then kind of fell out of favor. I do think they are a strong deck, however. Mech Knights, mostly in this regard being pure. Obviously, you can mix in Invoked as well. Mech Knights, really strong, whether you're the Column King or Anastasis, or, I mean, there's got to be some other good Mech Knight players, right? But those two guys are crazy with the deck, and yeah, they know their columns. You should pay attention to yours too, because Mech Knights are a very, very good deck. Mystic Mine didn't get hit again. I didn't expect it to, and I'm love-hate relationship with the card. I think that it's a necessary evil, but man, is it annoying. If only like meta decks didn't play against it, I would love Mystic Mine to be at 1, but like when Dino or Sky Strike or these other decks play it, they really only need 1 copy anyway, and that's the part that just gets really, really annoying when meta decks play it, or when you out 2 copies and they get a 3rd. Ogdoa deck, the new Snake deck, you know, Snake Rain. It's not just a meme anymore. That deck, whether, you know, loading up your graveyard. I've seen them mixed with Eldritch and with Orcus too. Kind of just waiting to see if they can come around and do a little bit more. But for now, we are going to put them in Rogue. Someone had mentioned that they actually topped, I think, like some invitationals in some countries or something like that. But I just wanted to mention them as a Rogue deck. I really can't tell you guys exactly what they do other than loading up the grave and playing similar to that type of playstyle. But, you know, that's what they do. They are a Rogue deck, so if you want to play them, go ahead and look into them a little more. Orcust. I love me some Orcust. Harp Horror didn't come back, very, very sadly. I think I would have most preferred Stalio and Harp Horror to come back than Engage. Colossus is the one I'd actually want back the most, but I know that it can't come back. So I think Harp Horror, it could have came back, but Orcus, it's a rogue deck still. I don't think people are really playing it too much. I want to kind of mess around with it. We're going to actually work on a Eldritch Orcus list. I heard that was a thing, and it really kind of intrigues me, so I do want to mess with that a little more. Pendulums, guys. Best deck. Pendulums, let's go. Best deck. Skull Crobat to 1, Double Iris to 2. And it's not going to do much, guys. I really don't see Pendulums, you know, breaking the game, becoming tier 1. Again, not to say like Triff can't see success with it. Any one of these decks with the right pilot's going to do well. Like, that's the love of the game, the love of this format. All of these decks, 32 by the way, I think can see a degree of success with the right pilots. Triff being one. I know Jeremy Mitchell was on he on Zoo Tri Brigade, I think, or something like that. I know some of them other big name ones. I don't know if Paul Cooper's playing at the moment, but you know, those types of Pendulum players, like, of course they can see success with it, and I'm sure there's more of you guys out there who are just dedicated to the deck. And by all means, prove me wrong. Show me it's a tier 2 deck. Show me it's a tier 1 deck. Let me know down below before you do it, and then let me know after, and I will eat my words happily on the next tier list. PK Fire. So, second layer of Rogue. You guys knew there was going to be a lot of Rogue here. When you have 32 decks, the majority are going to be Rogue. PK Fire. Deck that, you know, kind of, I say it all the time, thought it was going to be better, want it to be better. If we're talking Rogue, like Rogue tournaments, Pure Mech and PK Fire have been the 2 best decks, at least in Dragon Rider games. I'm going to plan on showing up and showing out with our Cyber Dragons, however, so we'll see what we can do. You know, whether it's Trap, Danger, Mech, Cyber Dragon. Sorry, guys. Striker, Cyber Dragon. Like, I got a lot of different variations planned with this, so don't think it'll be easy to decide against, because you'll never know which one I am running. I even have an Orca Cyber Dragon list to try out in those Rogue tournaments as well. Plunder Patrol. Speaking of Rogue tournaments, Plunder Patrol is going to be good. Just got some more support, and they're sneaky good. I actually kind of might mix them in with my Cyber Dragons. Always liked them. Picked up the whole archetype. So yeah, Plunder Patrol is actually pretty good too. Prank Kids, Tier 2. Prank Kids are actually pretty darn good. You know, I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not. Especially in any tournament with timed rounds, Prank Kids are just very methodical in the way that they approach the game. They can blow up your monsters, they can blow up your back row, they can gain life points, they can burn you, they can win in time, they can go into like big link 4s and really push for game in one turn. Like, the deck can do so much. First of 2 decks that got their guys back. Mirage Astalio comes back. I've seen a lot of hype for this. Salad Tier 3 though. I'm leaving Salad at Tier 3. I could absolutely see them going up to Tier 2. I really can, but I want to see it before I jump the gun and do it. I don't think Stalio is going to be used a whole lot if they lose the die roll enough to go second. Stalio is more of a, I'm going to go first, set up my board type, because locking into the fire monsters for effects, going second, that's not good, because like, you turn off your 1-card access code combos. I mean, they can always go back to like Fusion of Fire and go for OTKs that way. But I don't know. I think they're going to be a strong Tier 3 deck and possibly push into Tier 2, but we'll see if that ends up happening. So, Shadal Dogmatica. I wasn't sure which area I was going to go with this. This is without Invoked. Oh, the deck. I'm going to put them at Tier 2. I think they're like Altergeist, where they're just teetering. Do they have the representation? The deck is good enough for Tier 2, but do they have that representation? And, you know, I don't know if they do, but I do think they are a slight better deck than Altergeist, to the point where I can bump them up without that full-on representation. Sky Striker, this deck is probably going to see a lot, and I full-on expect Sky Striker to end up in Tier 2, but just because like I said, with Salamangreat, Sky Striker, I want to see them do it before they do it, so I absolutely expect them to end up here, but I'm going to put them at Tier 3. I don't want to jump the gun on it, so Sky Striker, best Tier 3 deck, and I expect them to make that jump to Tier 2. Trap Tricks, another fun little trap deck. They got some more support. Again, kind of key thing here, you know, new archetype, new support, you know, relatively new archetype, new ban list releases. Like, you see a kind of common thing here. Tri Brigade, they're still Tier 1. They can still play the Zodiac engine too, they just obviously can't make Trident, so going first, it really doesn't offer anything other than that discard outlet. Like, when you want to open a Tri Beast plus like your Tri Brigade monster for combo, so it offers that, and you can still go like Borbo, attack directly, slap a Zeus down on the field. You just don't get the Trident, you don't get that 1 extra material, which actually isn't really needed, because I think if you used all of them that are available, you would end on an odd number anyway. So like, it's still accessible. I actually really like Harpy Tri Brigade. I'm working on a deck list and fine-tuning that. It's been doing really good so far. Learning all the combo lines and like thinking out all my plans, plays, and ratios. But otherwise, just pure Tri Brigade too. Deck's really strong, and I full on expect them to be a Tier 1 deck. Virtual Worlds. So, where to put Virtual Worlds? I kind of bounce back and forth between these two. Do I put them to Tier 3? Do I put them at Rogue? Do I put them here? Do I put them at Rogue? And I had a Virtual World player tell me last time, because I had them at Tier 3, that they are teetering Rogue. So I'm going to take his advice on it and go and put them at Rogue right now. Like, let's see what Virtual Worlds can do. I actually had someone tell me they're a top 5 deck. I don't see that at all. Like, I think these 8 decks are hands down better than Virtual World. I'd also take Sky Striker, no question. I'm gonna be a little biased and say Cyber Dragon too, but even like, I don't know, Altergeist, like a lot of the Tier 3 decks I'd probably take before Virtual World. They're probably like ahead of all the other rogue decks I have. So maybe back end tier 3, top of rogue, one of those two. I mean, wherever you want to put them. I'm going to leave them at the top of my rogue strategy. But anyway, guys, let me know down below which decks are too high, which decks are too low, and did we forget anything? I'm sure we did. We always do, right? And so until next time, guys, thanks for watching.